That's just a stupid folder.
It's not just a folder.
New Jaguar.
It's a big, beautiful, old...
New Jaguar.
Oh, the pioneers used to ride these babies for miles, and it's in great shape.
Copy nothing.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I'm going to try to sell y'all a car. That's what I'm going to try to do this morning. So,
All right.
here we go. We're going to watch this ad, and then we're going to see if y'all want to buy a car or not. Y'all ready for this? All right, here we go. Create exuberance. Create exuberant. That doesn't even make sense. Live vivid. Heck yeah. Spin around. Delete ordinary. Paint the screen. Break molds. The big yellow, whatever that is, hammer.
Sledgehammer.
All right, a sledgehammer. Yeah. Copy nothing. Okay. So this is a car commercial. Yay. Y'all probably saw this.
Have you not seen that yet?
Is
No.
The Rock sitting on a car?
I guess I've been living under a rock.
Wait,
Is what
Ryan,
on
you
a
haven't
car?
seen this commercial?
No, I have not seen this.
I was about to say, I was
commercial.
like, everyone's seen this commercial. Who hasn't seen
Yeah.
this commercial?
I don't.
This
where
is a car
was it?
commercial that doesn't have any cars. It doesn't have any cars in it, so it's a great car commercial.
No, the car's The Rock. Look really closely. It's kind of in the shape of a car.
Oh, you're right. It is kind of in the shape. I think
I
they
thought
were
they were
trying to
gonna-
like maybe foreshadow that.
This
because
this
these
is from this year. What?
No, this is from last year. This is the end of last year. Here's the car. You're right, Reese. You're right, because these are the cars that they came out. Now, this actually was a month later, I think. That does look like the car. That's funny. A month later, they came out with these images, and they said, introducing an unmistakable, unexpected, and dramatic physical manifestation of Jaguar as the brand continues its transformation. So they started here.
Yep.
They started here with their transformation, and then they went here. So they kind of like, they did the whole Jaguars changing ad, and then they did this, and they're like, here's how we're changing. Our cars are going to look super futuristic. Forget Cybertrucks and all that. We've got the next big thing. And then what happened? What happened this year to the sales? Jaguar sold just 49 cars in April 2025 amid EV rebrand dealer standstill. Let's look at the numbers. Jaguar's April 2025 Europe sales plunged 97.5% from 1,961 units to just 49 vehicles, marking a near total collapse during its rebranding phase.
Dude.
Sales
What?
plunged 97.5%, and that's from April of 2024 to April of 2025. They're looking at those 2 months.
My jaw would have dropped at 40% decline.
And
like
we
you
there.
invented
I think Jaguar just invented a new word because it used to be, it was the Budlight. Like people were like, oh, Jaguar just Bud Lighted their brand. I'm like, this is so much worse
much
than
worse.
the Bud Light. This
I
is
can
like
count the number of
Jaguar
cars
now.
they sold.
You Jaguared yourself.
On the toes and fingers of my family. That is crazy. Those aren't that ridiculous of looking cars. I mean, I think they look better than a Cybertruck. But the problem is that what was that commercial? Like, what in the world? Did they have like no clue where DEI was going, and like were they completely tuned out of like what in the world?
It's crazy.
I can't believe that. There's
It's
such a.
unbelievable because the commercial looks like it should. Like if they were coming out,
I thought it was like a.
2017. If that commercial had come out in 2017, it would have slapped so hard for the cultural sort of like vibe at the time.
But this would have been, I would have
But this
expected
is
that
like-
for like a fashion brand or something, like a makeup brand rebrand. Like that is completely out of touch with who
Crazy.
buys Jaguar. That makes me wonder who's driving Jaguars now. Like, who are you marketing to?
Nobody's driving
Yeah.
it now, apparently.
Nobody, yeah.
49 people. 40. You gotta be kidding me. I can't believe that's a real commercial. How did I not? Where was that commercial? Like, I mean, I don't watch TV.
Oh, it was all over the place. It was all over
Dude,
the
that
place.
commercial went so viral. It tanked Jaguar's brand. So I just watched a podcast the other day of some
cannot
British
believe that.
folks. I don't know much about the Jaguar brand. I'm not a cars person, but I was listening to British folks. Apparently, Jaguar has been like a fancy classic car like for British people for a long time. And so it was a couple of
Right.
British blokes, and they were looking at like older Jaguars and like classic Jaguars. And man, they are some nice looking cars. They are some nice looking cars.
They're
And so they're
sweet.
basically like bemoaning the end and the death of the Jaguar brand, because it was like it went from, in people's minds, Jaguar is like this really classic, super classy, to the now it's like the only people that buy it are the 49 people that I guess look like the individuals in that commercial. There's like 49 people on Earth that like actually dress that way, that commercial was shown, and they're the 49 people that bought said Jaguars. So I don't know. It's crazy.
I don't know, man. That's what happens. I mean, there has to be some Bud Light DEI hire similar thing. Like, did that person jump over to this company? Like, I don't know. Like that 100%. How out of touch can you be?
See if they do a Bud Light transformation where they try to now resort back, or if they just go under and say we're going to go away forever.
That's something I missed. That is just insanity.
They might have to hire Shane Gillis and Post Malone to do some driving
to drive Jaguar around, drinking Bud Light at the same time. Yeah. They should. If they were smart, if they were really smart, they would hire a new. So it was the marketing company but obviously Jaguar was making the decisions. But the marketing company they hired, were the ones that shot themselves in the foot like that. But if they were really smart, they should do a combo with Bud Light. That would be the funniest thing in the world. A Jaguar / Bud White commercial where Shane Gillis is driving around a Jaguar around while drinking Bud Light. I would love to see that.
Perfect.
That would be, if I had the money, I would consider buying a Jaguar after seeing that.
Was there backlash from like current owners of Jaguars after that commercial? Like, were they like revolting against like selling Jaguars? And I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. There was a lot of backlash.
I'm just kind of in shock. Like, I don't know how to process this. Like, I just cannot believe that was a Jaguar commercial. Like literally, when I think of Jaguar, I think of the most classy like car that you can buy. Like one of the most classy, because it's like an elite car, but it's kind of more classy than like if you buy a Lambo or something. It's kind of like, well, you're just trying to show off. But that's a little more quiet, classy to me. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big car guy either, but that's kind of my impression.
No, you're absolutely right. And they changed their logo. They used to have the Jaguar on their logo. They changed it. Now it's just like the futuristic looking Jaguar letters. So people weren't happy about that either.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
just
terrible.
So crazy. They definitely alienated their normal customer, their longtime customers, like
I just can't believe it was 49.
Whether people are selling off the old Jaguars or not.
97%.
Just so
That's
crazy. But here's my final thought on it. I think they made the right choice, honestly. I think they made the right choice. I mean, anyone who thought that this branding was a good idea, they do need to be out of business. So I'm glad they did it.
There you go.
I'm super happy about this.
They select. What is it called? Oh, there's
they removed themselves from the gene pool.
Yeah.
Yes. They said, you know what? It's time. Cut ourselves off.
Darwinian garbage. Yeah, that's funny. That is. I just cannot believe that 49. That is crazy. I figured there still would have been enough. But those were EV, so they just went total EV. Like they don't even have gas powered cars, or those are just the EV brand.
I think they still have regular gas powered cars. They were pivoting from the Land Rover and stuff like that, like those kinds of cars or whatever, something like that. And they were trying to push people towards these cars. And what's hilarious about this? I've just found this old article. So funny. This person is saying like, actually the thing that Jaguar did was genius because now everybody's talking about Jaguar. But then, fast forward a year later and it's like, well, yeah, everybody was talking about it, but nobody was buying them.
Nobody's buying them.
It's the unfortunate. It's sort of like the Morbius movie. You know how the Morbius became a meme, and it was like everyone's talking about Morbius. Morbius is the biggest meme of the 2022 or whatever year that was, and it was like, unfortunately, the meme was that it was a terrible movie, and so it didn't actually end up in correlating with movie sales, and so nobody went and watched it. Actually, that was even worse because it became a meme after the movie came out. And so then Sony put the movie out again, being like, oh, now everyone's talking about it. So now if we put the movie out in theaters again, people are going to actually see it. And nobody went and saw it the second time either. Because, again, the meme was that the movie was bad. And did not make people want to actually go see it.
I saw Morbius. Morbius was movie. Movie was action. And it was like something weird like that. Like it was like
the most movie of all time. It was the movie of all time.
The most movie of all time.
This was Jaguar's response to losing its current customer base. Jaguar is fine with targeting a different audience, even if that means saying goodbye to most of its existing customers. Managing Director Rhoda Glover estimates that only 15% of current buyers will return for another Jag. Obviously, it was less than
15%.
Obviously, it was less than 15%.
And they're okay with that?
Is that a recent hire? Is that like a new hire in that spot? Like that's
this was their I don't know, but this was their response to all of the critique and pushback after the rebrand.
I will say this: like I was in corporate America, and I saw from the inside, and I saw different companies that they hired outside consulting and different marketing, and whether it's marketing or just how to reorganize the companies. And you saw people who got installed in these positions, and these companies where people would go up through the ranks over a 20, 30-year career, or sometimes 40-year career, and there was a culture in the company. But then they installed these new top-level people at critical spots, and they do things that are just completely out of touch with the culture of that company, just absolute nutso. And so, like, for me, that has to be what's part of this, including public-facing things that we saw. And we saw these companies kind of just jettison all of that after the recent stuff with Trump and everything.
I think this is
market
the classic
backlash and exposures of DEI and all that stuff. But that has to be something like that. I guarantee you that person did not come up through the ranks in Jaguar.
Well, and I think it's whoever that person is or those people are, I think it's the classic like echo chamber problem where during this time frame, like Jacob pointed out that this ad aired during the election. And during the election, all mainstream media was saying they were making it look like the United States was going towards this really, really hard left leaning thing. And so you probably had this echo chamber of people like, oh, everybody's going this direction now.
Let's double down on it. Yeah.
And so they went this direction. And the reality is the majority of America still wants the traditional conservative things. And then everything just tanked. And obviously we have a different president than what they thought we were going to have. I get like that. The reason is because like I would have expected this new person or whatever to say the first part of that, but to say the second part or whatever part it was where they're actually I would have expected them to bridge the desire for new customers with the current customers instead of saying we don't care about the current customer. Like
no, they estimated losing 85% of their current customers with their rebrand, and they were like, but we're going to target this big other audience out here that wants this stuff. But they obviously lost 97.5% of their current customers.
I mean, it would be interesting.
People are too busy trying to pay $4,000 for an apartment in New York. I think they probably didn't calculate that.
They're like they don't actually have the funds. They spent all their money on that new fashion that looks so great.
Yeah,
and that small room in New York City.
It's just an odd like new market to break into. I say odd. I mean, I know a lot of things are oversaturated, but I have a hard time picturing, even if they did it in like a cooler way, jumping into the EV market and being like, oh, we're going to beat Tesla and we're going to beat, I mean, it's not just Tesla. All of the other brands they've already had EV alternatives on the market for a long time. And so I don't know what they're, with that kind of marketing, that's just like, we're going to get the most woke people possible. Like the weirdest, most woke people will be like, flamboyant people are going to buy our electric vehicle over everyone else. And I'm just like, okay, that, sure, you can market to that segment, but I'm just thinking about from the financial aspect, I'm like, is that really going to be a better business model than marketing to the 85% of your customers that you already have that are going to leave if you do this pivot? It's just weird. I'm just like, who is running the math on that?
Well,
it's so weird.
One of the other things to think about. So I did an episode on my podcast called on DEI and ESG and the truth behind all this, and have BlackRock, Vanguard, and these companies that are major shareholders in, I don't know, is Jaguar private or public company? But they're major shareholders in these companies. And if they want access to certain financing or certain things, like they gotta kiss the ring of this stuff. And so that's why companies are doing all this public thing, because they get this higher ESG score and then they get access to more corporate financing or whatever through like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street. And so, but that's kind of gone to the side now because there's this big jettison of that. So that's kind of the only thing I could think of is they thought, but that to me, that has to be a miscalculation, because there's no way you can overcome losing 85% of your repeat customers and somehow make that up on the back end with some other corporate investor that's interested in buying your stock or company or whatever. So that's just crazy, man. I'm still in shock. I cannot believe that. 49 cars, 97.5%. That is nuts.
That is
Insane.
Cutting Edge Faith Podcast. Everybody look up Ryan's Cutting Edge Faith Podcast to get that episode. I just pulled this up for you, Ryan. Apparently, the Jaguar is owned by Tata Motors, which is a publicly traded company. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Jaguar itself is a private subsidiary. So I don't actually know how that works. So they're owned by a publicly traded company, but they're not a publicly traded company. So their financials aren't public, but they're owned by a publicly traded company. So that's interesting.
Well, and we could probably look in to see some connections there to see if there's another reason why that they might not care about that. But that's interesting. I don't know. Purposely taking the brand seems tough to buy.
Troy, did you already say that they fired the branding company?
No, I didn't say that, but I'm sure that they have.
They did.
They fired the branding company?
Yeah.
But if they fired the branding company, are they pivoting at all? Or are they just like, okay, that was one bad commercial, but we're still going with like this kind of newish vibe?
I don't know that they're even like saying anything. I would imagine that a brand
the only way out
big enough like this would not say anything. They just would fire and try to make it quiet.
The only way out is to repivot and completely destroy what you've tried to create, and that's the only way out. Anyways, so y'all remember to stay exuberant and copy nothing, especially don't copy what Jaguar is doing.
Yeah, really don't copy Jaguar.
Wow.